Hello again everyone, Vince Shuta here for Shuta Multimedia, coming to you today from Oliphant, Pennsylvania. Yes, it's our own little hill valley. Why would I describe it that way? That's because today is October 21st, 2015. That's right, it's Back to the Future Day. Today is the day that Marty McFly traveled to the future in order to do something about your kids. Marty! I think today everybody, if you know someone named Marty, you should walk up to them and say, Marty! Just like that, just to see if you can, get them into the spirit of the whole. After today, every bit of that whole movie series will be set in the past. Now, I didn't come up with that idea on my own. I saw it on my phone. See? The phone. Which brings me to the main thesis of this whole thing, is that you're going to see a lot of stuff on the internet talking about how the future of Back to the Future is different than the future of the actual future, which is now. I think if you're talking about ways that society is completely different now than it was in 1985, and I remember 1985, you have to bring up the fact that we are all basically carrying around supercomputers in our pockets. And that's not an exaggeration in the least. The supercomputer of 1985 was the Cray 2. This was a beast of a machine that needed 200,000 watts to operate and had the processing power of an Apple iPad 2. That's not entirely true. We did some really nice things with matrices that I don't think the iPad could pull off, but still, we're talking about having a tremendous amount of processing power in your pocket. I mean, right here, more processing power than it was available to in scientific communities in 1985. You're walking around with it. Having a really fantastic calculator in your pocket would be really a great thing, but consider this. These little devices are connected to the internet, which means you have every single piece of information that has ever been known to man at your fingertips, including just about every picture ever taken of a cat. More to the point, combine the power of the internet to transmit information with the structures of social media, and we are connected in ways that man could not imagine 30 years ago. I was there. We couldn't imagine this. Back in 1985, if something happened to your kid and your kid went missing, he or she ended up on a milk carton. That was the best way they could get the word out and say, hey, have you seen this person? Remember the have you seen me milk cartons? Now a child goes missing, the photos are all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you have a nationwide search going on within minutes, essentially, of when that Amber Alert is issued. Like-minded people from all over the world can gather together and share their thoughts and be fans of certain things or raise money for charity. It's incredible the things that can go on and the way that we can communicate with just about anyone on the planet. The danger of all this connectivity is, strangely enough, you can end up more disconnected than before. How much time do you spend on social media versus actually being social? I mean, I'm sure you're more social than you are on the computer. I mean, it's not like you're spending 17 hours a day on the computer and never talking to people. And if you are, well, we need to work on that. But I mean, we'll get there. Don't worry about it, we'll get there. And by that I mean, you spend so much time connecting with people on social media that it eats up your time for actually connecting with people in real life. Social media is supposed to help you socialize. Socializing is not supposed to feed your social media. And it's easy to get that backward. Take it from a guy who spends a lot of his time in front of a camera uploading them. Marty McFly never knew what it felt like to be behind on your Facebook. He never worried that he missed wishing someone a happy birthday because he didn't go on the computer that day. Or on his phone, for that matter. I remember telling my niece a story from when I was back in high school and I got lost. I got lost back in the hills of Bunker Hill trying to find my way out at 2 o'clock in the morning. And it was a great little story, but she looked at me like I was crazy and said, well, why didn't you just call someone? I'm thinking to myself, well, there wasn't a payphone nearby. And then I realized, she didn't realize, I didn't have a phone. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with social media. It's not an evil or something like that. But if you find that it's starting to drive what you're doing, if you start to feel like you have to keep up with the pages and with the posts and all this kind of stuff, and you're not coming up with interesting enough stuff, or that if you become a producer of media and your job is not to be a producer of media, but you feel like you've got to produce media to keep up with the Joneses, then it's not being healthy for you. You should take a step away from that. You gotta step into the DeLorean, peel away from the curb, hit 88 miles an hour, and put yourself back in 1985 or 1974 or wherever you had a slower pace and a happier kind of existence, but didn't have this sort of pressure on it. We should all hop in that car sometimes. And you heard that from Vince Shuta, Shuta Multimedia. This is what I do. And you can't do it all the time. If it's making you crazy, give it a break. Flip side of that, don't be afraid of social media and computers and high-tech thingamajiggers. After all, the future is now. As the old expression goes, everything in moderation. I'm Vince Shuta for Shuta Multimedia. Have a great future, everyone. Ironic twist ending, I just ended up having somebody stop me and ask me for directions, which I gave them via Google Maps, because I had no idea what street they were looking for in my hometown. But technology saved the day, because this is the future. Okay, who sees the giant flying phoenix bird? You see it? Do you see it? Why would I say that? That's because today is a motorcycle day. No. Why would I say that? That's because today is Back to the Future Day. Yes, it is October 21st, 2015. It is the day Marty McFly traveled to the future to try to help out his kids.